Ayala effect and fan base behind me is gonna be funny. She's carrying the crowd, so it's gonna be interesting.
Alex Eala's face just went up on a digital billboard in Times Square. Nike put her there, and the timing isn't a coincidence. It lands just days before the 2026 US Open as Eala hits a career-high world number 18. This isn't a small marketing buy, it's Nike making a bet in the most expensive advertising real estate on earth on a 21-year-old from Quezon City. So let's start with what actually happened. Between August 22nd and 24th, 2026, Nike's digital billboard campaign launched across Times Square and Manhattan. The creative showed Eala in a custom royal blue Nike Court Slam dress, and this dress isn't generic. It's built around Philippine national team colors, with open netting side cuts and a basketball-inspired silhouette. This wasn't an afterthought either. Nike stitched Tagalog proverbs into the branding around this rollout. Kung may itinanim, may aanihin. As you sow, so shall you reap. And kapag lumago, hindi nahihinto, never stop flourishing. That's not stock marketing copy. That's a brand studying a specific culture and speaking its language literally. But here's the question that actually matters. Why New York? Why not Miami? Why not London? Why not Manila? Because New York already belongs to Alex Eala. Rewind to September 10th, 2022. A 17-year-old Eala walks onto court 11 at the USTA Billie Jean King National Tennis Center and beats Lucy Havlikova 6-2, 6-4 to win the US Open Girls Singles title. She becomes the first Filipino player in history to win a Grand Slam singles title, junior or otherwise. She didn't drop a single set the entire tournament.
My first WTA title. Thank you so much for the support.
Along the way, she beat Mira Andreeva, now a top 20 name, 6-4, 6-0 in the quarterfinal. So when Nike picked Times Square, they picked the site of Eala's origin story. This billboard isn't introducing a new athlete to New York, it's closing a loop that started 4 years ago on a side court most fans never even watched. But that wasn't the end of the story, because the ranking number driving this campaign didn't come easy either. Let's talk about the Mubadala City DC Open, August 2026 in Washington, D.C. Eala enters the tournament ranked world number 28. She doesn't get a soft draw. Round of 32, she faces Chin Wen-jing, the reigning Olympic gold medalist, and drops the first set 4-6 before clawing back 6-4, 6-1. Round of 16, she beats defending champion Leylah Fernandez, winning a clean second set tiebreak 7-1. Quarterfinal, she takes down world number 10 Alina Svitolina. Semifinal, she beats former world number 1 Naomi Osaka 6-4, 6-2. Breaking her serve 4 times while committing just 1 double fault. And then the final, Jessica Pegula, world number 3, top seed. The match gets suspended overnight because of rain, with Pegula leading 6-4, 1-2. Eala comes back the next day, still down 3-4 in the second set, and reels off 9 consecutive games. She closes the third set 6-0. Final score 4-6, 6-4, 6-0. That win made Eala the first player representing the Philippines to ever capture a WTA Tour singles title. Full stop. Not a junior event, not an exhibition, the main tour. And that's where things shift from a tennis story into a commercial one. Here's the real-time realization worth sitting with. Nike didn't put Eala on a billboard because she's popular. They put her there because the DC Open win gave them a justifiable commercial trigger. A title, a ranking jump, a narrative. Right before the biggest hardcourt stage of the year. Corporate marketing doesn't move on vibes, it moves on receipts. And Eala just handed them one. The receipts kept coming. When Nike released Eala's official signature t-shirt, $42, a black crew neck with custom Sampaguita floral graphics, and her name in block type across the back. It sold out completely within hours, globally, not regionally, globally. The information and knowledge and news we have don't specify exact unit numbers, but the sellout speed reportedly outpaced merchandise launches for several multi-major Grand Slam champions. Now here's where the internet did what the internet always does. It turned a sellout into a scandal. Digital sports channels ran with a narrative that Aryna Sabalenka was furious with Nike, allegedly upset that Eala's billboard placement in Times Square came at her expense, pointing to Eala's shirt selling out while other athletes' merchandise sat on shelves. Here's the contrarian read, straight from the source material. That's not a locker room feud. That's a demographic story being misread as a personality conflict. Promotional allocation in sports apparel gets built around regional market demand and contractual terms, not backstage drama. The reason Eala's shirt vanished isn't that Nike snubbed anyone. It's that the Filipino diaspora is one of the most loyal, most visible fan bases in global sports. Filipino fans fill stadiums in Miami, London, Washington, flags out, full voice, and Nike is simply pointing its inventory at where the demand actually lives. That feud headline is clickbait wrapped around a spreadsheet decision. But what happened next changed the emotional center of this whole story, and it has nothing to do with marketing. Go back to Eastbourne. Eala loses a narrow 3-set final to Maya Joint. On paper, that's a loss, but her coach, Joan Bosch, the same Rafa Nadal Academy veteran who developed Carlos Moya and Yam Munar, said something worth repeating. Bosch has watched Eala process defeat not as a structural failure, but as an educational step. He credits that composure to her upbringing and specifically to her earliest coach, her own grandfather, Roberto Maniego, who put a racket in her hand at age 4. That's the emotional through line underneath every billboard and every headline. A kid coached first by her grandfather, developed at a Spanish academy from age 13, now standing in Times Square as a finished product of both worlds. And the reactions to her rise haven't just come from marketing departments. Rafael Nadal himself congratulated her publicly after the DC Open win. Congratulations to the Philippines and to the entire Rafa Nadal Academy team. Manny Pacquiao, arguably the most decorated Filipino athlete alive, posted that her comeback showed the heart of a Filipino. Even Jessica Pegula, the woman she'd just beaten in the final, said publicly that Eala's fan atmosphere is amazing. Not fun to play against, but amazing to witness. So here's the biggest reveal, and it connects directly back to that billboard in Times Square. This campaign isn't just about a t-shirt or a ranking. Eala is entering the 2026 US Open, projected to become the first Filipino tennis player ever to receive a main draw seeding at a Grand Slam tournament. Not just competing, seeded. That's never happened in Philippine tennis history. And there's another layer most casual viewers won't even notice. Eala isn't only playing singles in New York. She's entered the mixed doubles draw too, partnering Canada's Felix Auger-Aliassime, ATP World number 4. Both of them share the same developmental roots. Auger-Aliassime trained under Tony Nadal. Eala trained at the same academy under Joan Bosch. Two products of the same tennis ecosystem now pairing up on the same New York courts where her story first started back in 2022. They don't specify whether the seeding will hold, whether the mixed doubles run goes deep, or whether the pressure of being the face of Nike's campaign changes anything about how she performs under the lights she's now plastered across. What we do know is this: 4 years ago, a 17-year-old won a junior title on an outside court in Queens, and nobody outside serious tennis circles noticed. Now her face is 40 feet tall in Times Square, and the entire commercial machine of one of the biggest sportswear companies on earth is betting on her to justify that height. The billboard is up, the seeding is projected, the mixed doubles partnership is set, but the tournament hasn't started yet, so the only question left is one no marketing campaign can answer. Can Alex Eala actually win on the court underneath the version of herself Nike just put in the sky? Here's one more thread worth pulling before this ends, because it explains why Nike's bet isn't a sudden impulse. It's the payoff of a full season building toward exactly this moment. Rewind past the DC Open, past Wimbledon, all the way to January 2026. Eala starts the year at the ASB Classic in Auckland, ranked far outside the top 40, and reaches the semifinals. That result alone pushes her to world number 49. It's a quiet start, the kind nobody puts on a billboard, but it's the first domino. February, Dubai Duty-Free Championships, a WTA 1000 event, one of the biggest levels on tour outside the Grand Slams. Eala beats Jasmine Powell, then loses to Coco Gauff in the quarterfinals. Still, the ranking climbs to world number 31. March, Indian Wells, another WTA 1000, and she reaches the round of 16. The number keeps moving, world number 29. Then comes the toughest stretch, May, the Italian Open in Rome, on clay, a surface that isn't her strongest. She loses in the round of 32 to world number 2, Elena Rybakina, 4-6, 3-6. Her ranking actually dips down to somewhere between 38 and 42. This is the part of the story that never makes it into a highlight reel, the loss that happens quietly in the middle of a long season, right before everything turns around. Because 1 month later in June, it turns around fast. Birmingham Classic, WTA 125 event on grass. Eala wins it, beating Nikola Bartunkova in a 3-set final, 5-7, 6-3, 7-5. First title of the year, ranking rises to world number 33. She doesn't stop there. Same month, same surface, she moves to the Berlin Tennis Open, WTA 500. She reaches the semifinals, but look at who she beats to get there. Donna Vekic, Elena Rybakina, the same Rybakina who'd beaten her on clay just weeks earlier, and Alina Svitolina, 3 real names back-to-back. Ranking climbs again, world number 30, and then July, Wimbledon, the Grand Slam stage. Eala reaches the round of 16, and on the way, she beats world number 3, Iga Swiatek, in straight sets, 7-6, 6-2. That result alone rewrites how the tour is talking about her.
Step out on center court, take out the defending champ in Iga. I just thought about what a huge day it is for the Philippines. And she's an inspirational person. Everywhere you see her play, she's got a crazy amount of fans, and she means so much.
Ranking moves to world number 28. So by the time she walks into the DC Open in August, still ranked 28th, this isn't a surprise run from nowhere. It's the culmination of 8 months of climbing, dipping, and climbing again. Auckland, Dubai, Indian Wells, the setback in Rome, the title in Birmingham, the statement run in Berlin, the Swiatek upset at Wimbledon. Every one of those results is a rung on the ladder that put her in position to even reach that Washington final against Pegula. And the season didn't stop after DC Open either. Later in August, at the National Bank Open in Toronto, a WTA 1000, Eala reaches the round of 16, beating players ranked below her before falling to Belinda Bencic. She holds her position in the top 20. Then, at the Cincinnati Open, another WTA 1000, she loses in the round of 32 to Amanda Anisimova, 6-4, 4-6, 2-6. But even in that loss, something remarkable, that's the detail worth sitting with. She lost that match and still hit her highest ranking ever. That's not a fluke of the computer system. That's the weight of an entire season of results finally catching up to the number next to her name, all landing in the same window Nike chose to put her face in Times Square. 8 victories over top 10 opponents, 2 titles, a Grand Slam 4th round, a season that touched 3 different surfaces on 3 different continents. The billboard isn't the story. It's the receipt for a story that had already been written month by month across an entire year most fans only saw in fragments.